We are sitting at just 6 weeks out for the meet, which is crazy that we have 6 more Saturdays until the meet. I don't know. Yeah. We got bench today. We're going to do doubles, and then we're going to do some back off triples. And then there's a bunch of like bench accessory stuff, just builders and all that kind of stuff. So technically still in my head, when it comes accessories and secondary movement wise, it's the same programming through and through up until the last like 3 weeks leading into the meet and then the week of the meet. So you're going to see a lot of normal stuff. We're going to do some normal intensity stuff, some pretty high intensity, close to failure. We're going to push these doubles. We're going to push the triples. We don't need to peak 12 weeks out and take it so easy and cut the fatigues for so long. We need to cut the fatigue basically the last week, but kind of cut it the last 3. So we're going to push this kind of hard. So let's see what we can do. We're getting warmed up, and we'll see where we end at when we do with the doubles, and kind of see where we're at. Get a good gauge on where we're going to be at in bench wise, especially for me, doubles can kind of show close to what I'm at for a 1 rep. So pretty excited. Week 3 feels start of it. It's today, obviously, but it feels good. I feel pretty decent, which is normally about how I feel in week 3. Week 3 is probably my best feeling week. Week 4 is probably my best performing week, but the most fatigue for sure. So let's get started. Let's see what we do. We'll go from there. Before I show the top set, welcome to my channel. My name is John Mahaffey. I've been powerlifting for 5 years now. I'm kind of an amateur powerlifter, coach, enthusiast, whatever you want to call it. So basically, if you're new to the channel, my main thing here is normal training. And to me, normal training looks different than yours, and I think that's kind of what makes it normal. So I like to push a lot of stuff here of like just what normal training looks like, and that could mean normal equipment. You know, I work out in my garage gym. I'm married, I have a full-time job, I have kids, so my schedule changes, things change. I do all my own programming, which updates, you know, week to week sometimes. So a lot of that to me showcases like just what normal really is. And that a lot of the times for a lot of people is a lot of change. It's a lot of things updating and changing, you know, things looking different week to week, day to day, month to month, whatever. I really want to show that in this channel and be more transparent when it comes to this stuff, because I really wish more lifters that were advanced lifters, you know, more like professional lifters, power lifters, whatever it is, I wish they were more transparent with how their day-to-day really affected their training and life. And sometimes it's hard to put in perspective when you are trying to juggle a wife and kids and a full-time job and powerlifting and, you know, all that stuff. So I really want to show this in this channel. I really wanted to be transparent when it came to my programming, my changes in programming, my training in general, my day-to-day kind of stuff, and how it can really impact me or not impact me. So if you like this stuff, subscribe to my channel, helps me out a ton. Liking the video helps me out a ton. I really want to grow the channel just to showcase more of what normal day-to-day training really can be like for, I think, 99% of lifters. My day may look different than yours, but at the end of the day, I think the fact that there's something different for you than what is for me is what makes it normal. And I want to be very transparent with what makes my day normal. So let's get back to the workout and let's see what we can do in this top set. Oh, so 280 moved pretty well. Pretty happy with that as a double. That is not a PR, but it does match a PR. So as long as we can come in next week, we'll see how we feel. And we'll get a PR. So we'll see 285, 290, 295, 300. I don't care what it is. Hopefully as long as we can outperform this week, which I think we can. I had enough in the tank on that rep. I felt pretty confident. I'm gonna call that like an 8, 8.5 though. For sure one more, without a doubt. That second rep, confident, but not like absolute confidence that we could have got 2. So we're gonna call like an 8.5. But pretty happy with that, moved super well. I'll take the 280 for the double. Like I said, 280 is my heaviest double I've ever done. So yeah, we're gonna do back offsets now. Gonna do these triples. Yeah. One more back offset. What I will say towards the end of this prep, I really switch a lot of things that I do. Not a lot, but I switch my mindset around a little bit when it comes to like focus on the lift and focus on what's moving the lift, what's pushing, what's driving, whatever. You know, off season, strength, blocks, even the start of peak, I really want to hammer out weaknesses. And I still do now, don't get me wrong. But I really want to hammer out what I'm weak at. Great example, bench. As you guys, everybody can see, and I can admit, and you know, it's easy to tell by, you know, about how my bench goes. My pecs are absolutely the weakest part of my bench. My shoulders are fine. My shoulders are strong. My shoulders are decently developed. My triceps are strong. They're decently developed. My pecs aren't that, I mean, they're strong, I guess, because they are handling the load for sure. But they're not developed well. They're not big. Yeah, so like when I have good triceps and good shoulders, and my pecs are what hold me back, off season, beginning of prep, strength blocks, whatever, really want to hammer out pecs. I want to focus on pecs. I want to focus with driving with my pecs. This is what we're trying to like get stronger. Now, when it comes this close, like when we're in off season, that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on what's weak. We want to focus on making those better. Now that we're coming closer to meet, I still want to obviously bench the same. I don't want to change my form up. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. What I do want to do is just mentally think about things a little differently, maybe cue-wise or pushing-wise, however you want to think about it. But like, you know, off-season, all that stuff, where the real main focus was like, I'm here, I'm feeling the tension in my pecs, and I'm driving with my pecs, right? I'm trying to control and get as much weight on my pecs as I can. You know, I want the weight to kind of catch on my pecs and drive. Of course, triceps and shoulders are still going to work and whatever. But when it comes to like right now, the peaking part, when we get close to peaking, we're peaking now. I really almost like want to switch, and I really want the focus to be on what my strong points are, because hopefully we've driven home enough of like we're contracting our pecs. We're letting that tension build on our pecs and then to like contract and really drive with our chest. So hopefully like the long period of time that we've spent there will carry over to the last little bit of peak subconsciously. But consciously, now I want to focus my efforts on where I'm stronger now. So right now, for bench, what I'm focusing on is driving like almost like with my pinkies, and I'm really focusing on like pushing with like the outside of my hands. Because if I do that, what will happen as I push that, as if I'm trying to like break it in half, like break the bar, and I'm driving with like my pinkies, my triceps will kick on more. Or at least I'll be more, the cue will allow me to feel my triceps more, to put more tension there, whatever. So we almost want to switch from like, the majority of our time is on our weakness.
Now, we still want to do things that are going to make our weakness stronger, for sure. But right now, I want to focus instead of, feeling tension on my pecs and driving just with my pecs. And that's my main focus is this whole like pec thing. I want to focus on like the outside of my hands driving up. So that way we get more triceps. Since our triceps are for me, is my strongest point in bench, I'm going to focus on that. Another good example of this is even with like exercise selection. Let's say in our squat, our quads are the problem. What do? We hammer quads. We hammer quads. When we squat, then we focus on pushing these forward, feeling the contraction, feeling the weight catching that weight on our quads. Using our quads to really get ourselves out of the hole. We're doing with the exercise selection, we're doing high bar squats. We're doing front squats, searcher squats. We're doing leg extensions, sissy squat, whatever it is. We're heel elevated stuff. We're doing things that are really going to put that weight on our quads. But like, we don't want to do that the whole way to the meet. So that way when we're at the meet, we're not going to use the meet as like a way to develop our quads. So everything we use to develop that, I don't need to say it needs to be shut down or stopped, but it definitely needs to be like pulled back, and now it needs to be what our strength is. And if through that period, now our strength is our quads, then by all means. But if we're really hammering it that hard, I'm willing to bet that it's not, and it won't be for extended periods of time. But yeah. All right, to finish this off, we're going to do some of these chest supported rows we've been doing on the Smith machine. Add a little bit of weight, and also in these, what I'm doing is allowing my scap to just be pulled apart by the weight of the bar, and really squeezing my way up. So that's kind of the intention there. And then obviously just some more tricep work, some seated push downs and some overheads, but that's it. It's just some basic work, 2 sets of both of these. But nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. That's all I got for today's video. So watch more of my videos, subscribe, like, whatever you want to do. Anything you can do helps out. So I'm just gonna let the video kind of play out. We don't really have an outro, so the video just caught off at the end.